Lecture 8. Compositional Patterns of Syntactical Arrangement. Suspense, Antithesis. Hello everyone and welcome to our next lecture in stylistics. Today we'll explore how syntax, the arrangement of words and phrases, shapes meaning and tone in powerful ways. We'll focus on two major compositional patterns, suspense and antithesis, then expand into related syntactic devices like parallel constructions, detachment, and stylistic inversion. Let's dive in. 1. Suspense, holding back the heart of the message. In stylistics, suspense is a powerful rhetorical technique. It involves delaying the main idea of a sentence until the very end, creating a feeling of tension, curiosity, or emotional build-up. This structure is known as a periodic sentence. Example: "Mankind," says a Chinese manuscript, which my friend M was obliging enough to read and explain to me, "for the first 70,000 ages ate their meat raw." Here, the reader is kept waiting. Only at the end do we learn the core message. This technique keeps attention focused and raises expectations. It's often used in speeches and fiction to dramatize the final point. In oratory, suspense builds emotional engagement. Think of Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches. Long, flowing sentences that crescendo into powerful conclusions. Psychologically, suspense taps into the brain's desire for closure. It's the "what happens next" mechanism that keeps listeners hooked. 2. Antithesis, balancing contrasts. Antithesis is a stylistic device built on parallelism and semantic contrast. It places two opposing ideas in a symmetrical structure to highlight their differences. Classic example: youth is lovely, age is lonely; youth is fiery, age is frosty. The structure creates a rhythm. Even if the adjectives aren't perfect antonyms, their contextual contrast becomes meaningful. It's not just about opposite words, it's about opposite worldviews, or emotions framed in mirrored syntax. Writers like Charles Dickens and Oscar Wilde used antithesis frequently to sharpen irony, dramatize character traits, or create memorability. Oscar Wilde example: "We live in an age when unnecessary things are our only necessities." Here, the antithesis is witty and paradoxical. A brilliant example of stylistic compression. 3. Parallel constructions and syntactic rhythm. Closely connected to antithesis is parallel construction, which involves repeating similar grammatical structures to emphasize related ideas or establish rhythm. Example: "She loved the piano, hated the violin, and feared the trumpet." This repetition of subject plus verb plus object builds a steady pace and allows contrast or accumulation. Parallel constructions are used in political speeches, poetry, advertising slogans. Anywhere, rhythm and clarity are key. In cognition, parallelism helps readers process complex ideas by giving a familiar frame. 4. Detached constructions and emphasis. Detached parts of a sentence, such as attributes or adverbials, may be moved away from the noun they describe to emphasize them. Example: "He sat quietly, exhausted, broken, forgotten." The adjectives are detached, not directly modifying the subject in traditional order, and this draws attention to them. Detached constructions create pause, emotional weight, and allow writers to mirror thought patterns or dramatic beats. 5. Stylistic inversion, reordering for impact. Stylistic inversion is the deliberate rearrangement of standard word order for emphasis or emotional nuance. Example: "In went the boy, trembling with fear." Instead of the expected "the boy went in," the inversion adds urgency, focus, and a poetic tone. Unlike ungrammatical word order, stylistic inversion is deeply embedded in literature, especially poetry and elevated prose. It often signals intensity or old-fashioned elegance. 6. Supraphrasal units, cohesion beyond the sentence. Let's zoom out. What about meaning that spans multiple sentences? A supraphrasal unit, SPU, is a stretch of text, usually a paragraph, united by one central idea. It's not just about grammar, it's about semantic and pragmatic coherence. A well-written SPU often includes a topic sentence, usually at the beginning or end, supporting details, consistent tense and reference, a clear authorial purpose. The goal is to guide the reader through an idea with both logic and style, a microcosm of the writer's strategy. 7. Paragraphs, logical and psychological units. Though often seen as just a graphical break, a paragraph is also a stylistic and cognitive unit. A good paragraph isn't just logical, it respects the reader's attention span, emotional rhythm, and need for clarity. In scientific writing, topic sentences are placed logically. In literature, they may be buried to delay revelation or mirror a character's thoughts. Paragraphs reflect not only what is said, but how the writer wants the reader to experience the thought. 8. Real-world application. Advertising and literature. Many of these syntactic strategies show up in advertising, where word economy, rhythm, and tone are crucial. Suspense. She thought it was just a scent, until it became a memory. Fragrance ad. Antithesis. Because you're worth it, but never overpriced. Luxury skincare. Parallelism and inversion. Not fast, not cheap, just perfect. Automobile campaign. In literature, authors like Hemingway, Woolf, and Toni Morrison manipulate syntax to convey psychological realism, social commentary, and character depth. 9. Polysyndeton and asyndeton. Syntactic variation as stylistic choice. Let's now briefly examine two contrasting devices. Polysyndeton and asyndeton, both rooted in syntax, both capable of creating distinct stylistic effects. Polysyndeton is the repetition of conjunctions in close succession where they would usually be omitted. Example: he ran and shouted and tripped and fell and cried. The repetition of and slows down the rhythm and draws attention to each action. This is often used to imitate emotional speech, add weight, or emphasize multiplicity. In contrast, asyndeton omits conjunctions entirely. He ran, shouted, tripped, fell, cried. This creates a rapid, urgent rhythm and is often used to reflect speed, pressure, or a stream of consciousness. Both devices are stylistically marked and frequently found in speeches, fiction, and journalism. 10. Climax and anticlimax. Gradation in syntax. Another important compositional structure is climax, or gradation, a sequence where each part increases in intensity or significance. Example: he came, he saw, he conquered. This classical tricolon builds up logically and emotionally. In stylistics, this is not only a rhetorical flourish, it is a way to guide interpretation. The opposite, anticlimax, is deliberately used to create irony or humor by deflating expectations. He lost his family, his fortune, and his favorite pen. This twist can be jarring, comic, or satirical, depending on the tone. It shows how syntax interacts with meaning to shape emotional response. 11. Syntax and authorial voice. Common biol. Finally, compositional syntactic structures are often signatures of authorial style. Think of Virginia Woolf's long, flowing sentences versus Ernest Hemingway's terse, declarative style. Both authors shape thought rhythm through syntax, one mimicking the mind's fluidity, the other prioritizing clarity and control. Woolf's suspenseful syntax often mirrors psychological depth. She had said it. Yes, perhaps, if she could, but it was too late. Hemingway's anti-suspense creates stark realism. He went to the river. He looked at the fish. He didn't speak. This contrast reminds us that syntax isn't just about grammar. It's about world-building, pacing, and character psychology. Final thoughts. Syntactical arrangement isn't just about grammar. It's about shaping perception, guiding emotion, and reinforcing meaning. Whether through suspense, antithesis, parallelism, or inversion, writers and speakers choose their structures carefully to maximize stylistic impact. By understanding these patterns, you're not only improving your analytical skills, you're also building tools to become more expressive, more persuasive, and more intentional in your own language.